it's important for us to be there in this technology so that we can ensure peaceful use. We can ensure rule of law and the values that America brings, that every person is created equal, okay, no matter where you live or what kind of food you eat. And if we're not, if there's one lesson of history and conflict, it is that the peace through strength is the only way. If you try to have peace through weakness, some evil person will eventually use their power against you because they're not good people.
Wow, factories in space and so much more. I want to take you guys on a journey with me, a journey to places that maybe only seemed in our imagination, right? Years ago, maybe even only 10 years ago. Now it's a reality, and I'm willing to bet you that you were left wanting more after last week's interview with Steve Kwast. And believe me, I did too. I mean, I'm bringing him back today for even more discussion about this amazing company, Space Built, and everything his satellites can do to make the world a better place. And believe me, we're just touching the tip of the iceberg. But first, Allegiance Gold. Gold and silver allow you to protect what you've worked so hard for. And you know, I've talked about Allegiance Gold before. This is because I believe in diversifying your money. Diversify, diversify, diversify. And you can do this through Allegiance Gold, folks. They allow you to protect your 401k and your IRA through physical gold and silver. And they will literally deliver it to your front door and secure it right there at your front door so that you can protect your assets. This is so important. And right now you can get $5,000 of free silver. Yes, you heard me right. Free silver on a qualifying purchase when you tell them that Sara sent you. My friends at Allegiance Gold are there for you, right? They're there for you. They're there to protect your IRA, your 401k. But remember this, we live in a world now where we saw what happened in Canada, where Prime Minister Trudeau basically took over the accounts of people, wouldn't allow people to donate to the truckers, the Freedom Truckers during COVID. We saw what happened here in the United States where banks were throwing people out. Don Jr. experienced that because the banks are so woke. They don't want certain people in their banking systems. And by the way, we need control over our own finances. So get $5,000 of free silver on a qualifying purchase when you tell them that Sara sent you. So don't wait. Call or click today. That's 877-702-7272. That's 877-702-SARA. Or go to protectwithsara.com. We can't control the Biden administration, folks. And frankly, I don't even want to be around Biden, but we can prepare. 877-702-7272. That's 877-702-SARA, SARA, or protectwithsara.com. When we left off with Steve last time, we were beginning to talk about the national security implications of the American satellite supremacy in space. That is probably one of the most important aspects for me, the area I'm interested in the most is how do we protect our nation's national security from space? Take a listen. Let's take this one step further because I believe that it's a national security. The national security implications are extraordinary. We are going to be able to protect our nation in ways we've never thought before. I mean, and conceive of traveling in space and protecting humanity in ways we've never even imagined with this technology. So let's say we don't have these power grids. We're getting our energy from space, a never-ending feed of energy from the from our own sun in our solar system onto Earth. Doesn't that make a huge difference when we have adversaries like China? Look, you were behind Space Force. You worked with President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence and others at the Pentagon. I believe the reason behind Space Force was certainly a national security issue for our country. Yes. Talk a little bit about that and the implications of that, and we'll talk a little bit about China as we go on.
Okay, so this gets back to the fact that technologies are powerful. They are powerful for your economy and for the things that matter to people, energy, information, resources, so that you can be healthy, prosperous, and safe. And so one of the reasons why this is a national security threat is because technology in the hands of somebody that doesn't like you can be used as a weapon. Right. So, for example, Nuclear energy has become so safe and it is so beautiful. It can be part of the energy solution for the human race because we have now technologies to make it safe and effective. But at the very beginning of the nuclear age, it was being designed to be a bomb by Germany to be used to dominate the world. Okay. And if America had decided, well, the nuclear weapon is dangerous, so we're not going to build it because we don't want to build something that could be dangerous. One, Germany would have gotten that bomb first, and that would have changed fate. Okay. And two, we would have never been able to discover its peaceful uses that are transforming lives even right now. The airplane. If you lived in 1903, when the Wright brothers invented and successfully flew the first aircraft, there were articles written about how it was immoral to fly an aircraft because it could drop things on people's heads and it would be dangerous. And they're right. Technology can be dangerous. So space technology, the ability to beam power safely anywhere on the planet, to energize our economy and keep it clean and healthy and wholesome, can also be turned into a weapon if only your adversary have that capability and you do not. In other words, if you do not compete in the race for technology, you will be the big loser economically, with regard to national security, and with regard to your freedom, your health, and your values. So this is why it's important, because China is pursuing a space industrial base, a space economy like you read about. It is their national vision. They invented a space force well before we did, and most people don't even know that. For the last 35 years, China has been doggedly pursuing all of their money and their effort at a strategy to dominate the space economy by 2049.
Because they understand. They understand. The Chinese Communist Party understands that space is the future of humanity, and that controlling certain parts of space can actually give them control over our planet, right?
That's right. That's right. So from space, and this is why it's important for us to be there in this technology so that we can ensure peaceful use. We can ensure rule of law and the values that America brings, that every person is created equal, okay, no matter where you live or what kind of food you eat. And if we're not, if there's one lesson of history and conflict, it is that the peace through strength is the only way. If you try to have peace through weakness, some evil person will eventually use their power against you because they're not good people, okay? And most people are good. But when only one side has the power of technology, if somebody evil gets in charge, they will use it to try to control you. And that's what's at risk here. That's why this is so a dangerous time, that if we as an American society do not decide to actually get serious about a space economy, China will be there first. And when you talk about strategic high ground, there's no higher strategic ground than space. From space, with large apertures and large energy from the sun or from nuclear power plants in space, you can paralyze the American economy, because the American economy is dependent on electrons. And from space, you can manipulate the electromagnetic spectrum. You can basically design energy weapons that could paralyze our power grid. It could paralyze an entire fleet of Navy ships in the ocean. It could paralyze all of the fighter aircraft on a U.S. Air Force base.
How soon is that technology accessible to our adversaries? Is it already here? Is it just a quest of who gets there first? What is the reality of that?
Yeah, it is already here, meaning that we already have proven its efficacy. China has as well. And now it's a matter of operationalizing it. In other words, who is going to build it first? And that's why Space Built is such an important company. We are a logistics company that will be able to build this space infrastructure cheaper and faster than any other company. And we have the engineers and the relationships to prove it. And so this is about getting to that high ground at or before China gets there, because China is pouring all their national wealth and will behind that one vision, because they see this as the game changer for the 21st century.
Is there any other adversary or other nation that we should be concerned with regard to space other than China, or is China the main threat here?
Well, so I'll be very frank about the fact that it doesn't really matter, who is pursuing space. If they are an ideology that hates America, then they're a threat. Okay, and
Right.
we know the Communist Party is a threat to America because they believe in communism, not freedom. And we believe in the free will of people. So they are a threat in that respect. But if the Chinese Communist Party went away, the Chinese people are beautiful, wonderful.
Right.
They're loved by their parents just like we're loved by our parents. Okay, there's no difference. So I want to make it very clear. This is about having parity or superiority in technology with any other country out there, so that if somebody decides to do something that is counter to our values or threatens our economy, our beliefs, or our system of government, we can defend ourselves. And so it could be any country. It could be a small country or a large country. If they have space capability, they are either a friend or a foe, and they're defined by what they do with that technology. Just like an airline. An airline is a peaceful thing carrying people around the world. But if that airline were to put bombs on their aircraft and drop them on people's heads, they would become a threat. The same is true with space technology.
Is this a paradigm shift in our space industry? What we're seeing right now? I mean, I feel like I've woken up in a new world. You know, it's exciting,
Yeah.
it's frightening. We need artificial intelligence to do a lot of what we are doing now. Also, human ingenuity and robotics, mechanics and mechanical engineering. I mean, these are incredible feats of mankind, of the human race. Is this a paradigm shift? Can we actually say we're living in that moment?
We are, and it's coming faster than people think, and it's because there has been there's basically been a merging of all these technologies. You mentioned many of them, but there's been this merging of these technologies that have come together to make this now possible. It was not possible even 10 years ago. It is possible today. And for example, Elon Musk has, can be credited with that because nobody believed you could do reusability, where you could launch a rocket, it lands on the same launch pad, and you refuel it, and it launches the same day.
It's like one of the most amazing things that anybody can see. I mean, I can't wait to see that in person, but watching it when he launches and it comes right back down, that technology is absolutely stunning and incredible.
Yeah. So that is a proof of what is possible, and that people did not believe.
Will you work with him? Will you work with Elon Musk, getting those parts up into space and bringing them back down?
So what Elon Musk did for the access to space, basically the freight train to space, what he did for that, we are doing for the manufacturing in space. In other words, once the stuff on Elon Musk's Starship gets up into space, we're the ones that put it all together. We're the ones that build the massive infrastructure in space that transforms the economy on Earth.
That's just stunning to me. Hey, folks, it's the 20th anniversary of Mike Lindell's My Pillow. Congratulations, Mike. You are the best. Thank you for caring so much about America. And right now, he's going to show you how much he cares about America, right? By giving you a special offer right now. My Pillow's regular price on their queen size My Pillows, $69.98. You'll get them now for $19.98. Wow, what an anniversary gift is that? And just $10 more for the king size. MyPillow.com/Carter, promo code Carter, or call 1-800-685-7221. I tell you guys, all my dogs have My Pillow pillows. All my kids have My Pillow sheets. All of my bathrooms are stocked up with My Pillow towels. I can prove it. I can put it on Instagram. You guys, I love these products. They are strong. They are good. They're soft. They're wonderful. And by the way, the 2.0, it's just cool to the touch. And I live in Texas. It's very hot. When I go to bed at night, even if the air's on, I want to feel cool. And I do that by my Pillow mattress topper 2.0 and using My Pillow 2.0 pillows, which are specially made to keep you cool and to keep you from sweating all night. You're going to love it. Trust me. Go to mypillow.com/Carter and use promo code Carter to get the queen size My Pillow for only $19.98 during Mike's My Pillow 20th anniversary sale. Congrats again, Mike. Call 1-800-685-7221. There you'll find not only this amazing offer, but also deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the MyPillow slippers, which I have, pet beds, which I talk about, blankets, and more. Get the best night's sleep, mypillow.com/Carter, and use promo code Carter, or call 1-800-685-7221, mypillow.com/Carter, promo code Carter. Hey, rocket men and women, Mars ain't no place to raise a kid. In fact, it's cold as hell, but it is a great place to listen to the Sara Carter Show here on Rumble or on your favorite podcast app. Subscribe today. It really does make a difference. Describe a starport. It's a factory in space. It's one of the key products of your new company. This will be a starport where the robotics will be used to basically, like Legos almost, connect the blocks of this amazing satellite system.
Yes. So it's a factory in space, okay? And that factory has a warehouse. So it has all of these parts. And a satellite is just a flying computer with sensors that can either see or do something. And so this factory in space, if you are a satellite operator, or if, let's say you have started a company and it's for satellite TV, okay? And you call Space Built and you say, I want a satellite that can do X, Y, and Z, okay? And you give me the specs for that. I can take those parts, those elements that are in my factory already in space, in my warehouse, and I can put them together in a day. And then I can drag that satellite with my multi-orbital logistics vehicle, and I can drag it out to the right orbit so it's looking at the right spot and doing the right thing for you. And you're up and running in weeks, not years. Right now, if you are starting a satellite TV company and you said, okay, I want to build a satellite, 3.5 years later and about $450 million later, you'll have your satellite. And that satellite will be built on Earth with old technology that can't be upgraded every 2 years like your smartphone. If you go and build your satellite with Space Built, we build it in a day in the factory, and in a few weeks we have it out to the right orbit, and you are getting revenue right away. And when there's a new invention that you want on that satellite, you don't have to wait 15 years for that satellite to die and become space junk. You just have us go out and we unplug the old petabyte server board and plug in the 10 petabyte server board. And you are now the latest and greatest satellite on the planet because you could take advantage of Moore's law and the invention of things and upgrade your satellite in space. Right now, every satellite operator has to wait for the satellite to die, and it takes about 15 years. Then it becomes a problem. It's space junk. We can also take that space junk and bring it out of orbit into our factory and take it apart and reuse it, or kick it out into the sun if you don't want it anymore.
You don't have to worry about all of this space junk just flying around the Earth, blocking the planet. You'll be able to actually bring that space junk down. It'll be like having a space junk junkyard, right? Like it's
the Hoover in space.
Yeah, exactly. A Hoover in that's so. I mean, this is, guys, listen to this. This is what I'm talking about when I was so excited when I opened the show before Steve came on. This is about changing everything, changing every aspect of and saving our planet in so many miraculous ways. I wanted to ask you this one question, though. This was one of my producers actually wrote this one down, and I think it's a good question. These satellites use what they call common standard electromagnetic interfaces, which have already been qualified on the ISS. Could you explain what that means?
Yeah. So what this company has done is they've already we have a partnership with the International Space Station, and we have a contract with the Department of Defense that's called an Other Transactional Authority contract. And so what we have been able to do is a satellite is made up of very basic elements. You know, there's the software, there's the hardware, there is the propulsion system, there is the communication system, okay, and then there is the kind of the controlling. So the hardware, the software, the communication, the power, and the propulsion, okay, and what we have done is we have broken those into their elemental blocks and made them modular and standard, okay, so that I can build any satellite for you with those blocks. And then all I have to do is put the payload you want on there. The payload could be a telescope looking out into space to see and then do something about an asteroid that's coming to the Earth that could harm America or the Earth if it's big enough. Right now, we can't see them. We cannot see the small asteroids that are, we call them city killers. One hit Russia a couple of years ago, and people thought it was a nuclear detonation and almost started a nuclear war. We can't even see them because we're blind and dumb in space. Every satellite is sitting up there and not even looking where it's going. It's just hoping that it doesn't hit space junk. That's why space junk is such a problem. So what I'm telling you is that these elements that I'm talking about that make up any satellite have already been qualified in space. Okay, so we don't have to requalify them. All we have to do is build them and launch them up into space and snap your satellite together in a day. That is a huge deal, because if you build a satellite in the current model, you have to build that satellite and then you have to qualify it. Okay, that means you have to stand in line for 6 months for that chamber for radiation, to simulate the radiation environment of space. You have to stand in line for that vacuum chamber that's very expensive and wait 8 months to get in a vacuum chamber to simulate space. And you put your satellite in there that you built on the planet. And if it doesn't work, you got to go back to square one and redesign that whole satellite, and then wait in line again for another 8 months to get in that vacuum chamber. That's how stupid the process is right now. That's how slow. And it's like when cars were first built. They were too expensive for anybody to own until somebody came along and standardized the parts, put it into assembly line, and then it was afforded by every person. Changed the world. Okay,
Right.
That's what we're talking about with space. When we can build satellites so cheaply and in space, where we can build them as big as we want, big power and big apertures are the big money in the economy of information, energy, communication, and all other signal strength.
Could the Defense Department have like a laser or some kind of weapon on there to destroy like a asteroid that could be a planet killer coming towards, I mean, eventually in the future? Could that be part of it? I mean, could it be just anything and everything we can think of could be a part
Absolutely.
of these systems?
It could be a spaceship built in space for a trip to Mars, where you're not stuffed in a tin can. You're not a sardine. You can actually be in an environment that looks like Earth. You have land, you have animals, you have vegetables, you have people, you have air, you have an atmosphere. There are things you could build in space you could never build on the planet and afford to lift it into space with chemical propulsion. It's just too heavy. So, and it's important to remind people there's a lot of resources in space that you don't see. For example, there is an asteroid that's flying along with Earth. It's basically following around the sun in the same orbital trajectory as the Earth, okay? And it is closer to us than the moon. The moon we can see. The moon is about 3 days travel away. This one asteroid that we know about is sitting less than a day's travel away. And on that one asteroid alone, there's $500 trillion of gold and silver and platinum. Because every asteroid...
Who gets that?
What's that?
Who gets that asteroid?
Whoever goes there first, okay? And we already have the robotics to do this, okay? And I'm telling you, we can we can bring almost infinite resources to the building of things that are useful for people on Earth. And here's one example too. Right now, data centers are getting ready to suck up all the spare water and all the spare electricity in places in the desert and other places, because data centers are so valuable. You need them. Google needs them. Microsoft needs them. Amazon needs them. And they are, when you take a look at their energy consumption and their water consumption, they are basically going to require so much more energy and stealing drinking water from people that need it. Now, guess what? The reason they need all that water and that energy is because heat is the number one killer of that kind of technology. Well, guess what? If you design it right in space, you have infinite cooling. Okay, you have free air conditioning. You put that server farm in space where it's less vulnerable to a terrorist trying to attack it, or the power plant that can be attacked, or the underwater sea cables of our fiber optic cable that bring all the backhaul. The reason you and I can talk like this is because there is fiber optic cable that is buried across the world, so that we could be talking from China to here or Japan to here, and it would look the same because it's at the speed of light. But those underwater cables are vulnerable, and our enemies know it. And if there's a war that kicks off, they'll just snip those cables, and we are out of luck. Now, if you have multiple satellites in space, it's hard to kill them all. You have this resilience that's built with the number and the diversity of capability to communicate. We don't even have that right now. If our space communication capabilities is reliant on the underwater sea cables.
That is just absolutely incredible to me. I could talk to you for like a week straight. And by the way, I want to be one of the first journalists or columnists that you invite to tour your space factory when that gets going, because I told you I am fascinated by that. Two more questions. What is standing in your way, if anything? Or do you feel like you guys have a clear road ahead? And what do you see as far as within the next 10 years, the future of your company? Where do you see that going?
Yeah, so Space Belt has a lot of analogies to SpaceX. For example, we are a company that we have the engineering knowledge and we have the proof of concept, meaning we've flown this technology in space. We know how to put this together. So like Elon Musk in the early days, he needed funders. He needed people that understood his vision and believed in him and provided him the capital, the working capital for the private sector to do something the government thought couldn't be done and many engineers thought couldn't be done. But Elon Musk knew it could be done and his engineers knew it could be done, and he's done it. That's where we sit right now. We are a company with the engineering prowess to do this, the qualified equipment that has been proven in space, and we are looking for the funding to be able to make this commercial venture work. That's what we need. And in 10 years from now, we will be the logistics company that broke through the glass ceiling of the space economy, where you actually build things in space and you get rid of this silly idea that you have to build things on the planet and stuff it into a small capsule on top of a rocket and shake it to death all the way up to space and then unfold this origami delicate satellite to do its job. That is incredibly difficult engineering. But it's really easy when you just send the elements up in any rocket. It doesn't matter how much G-force or how much vibration, because it can withstand 600 Gs and any vibration you put at it. And then you click them together in space into these delicate architectures that are big, that can do all of this work for a fraction of the cost, and you can do it faster than anybody stuck in this old paradigm. China's stuck in that paradigm. We are the company that will break out of that paradigm.
And you're going to do that by, and I know this because I've had an opportunity to talk to you privately, but your belief is that we've got to do this with American values, American ingenuity, and putting America first ahead of the space program and in every aspect to keep our adversaries at bay. And you do that as a way of protecting our nation and our national security. And that's why it meant so much for me to have you come on the show and be able to talk. And thank you for allowing me to give this platform so that our audience and everyone can hear about this amazing company. Steve, you're just incredible.
Well, you're kind to say that, and you're right. We are looking, the model of this company is we want American money or any money that believes in the American values, because the people we want to make rich beyond their wildest dreams are people that are going to plow that money into our education system that needs reinventing, our telecommunication system, that needs to be reinvented, so that we tell the truth, we can understand the truth, we educate our children with the values we believe in. These are constitutional values that are based in a belief in God. I mean, these are really important things. And we are only going to allow people to join this company that believe in these values. If we aren't willing to fight for what we believe in, our civilization is lost. That is a time-tested true principle of all history. And we are at this crossroads as a nation. What do we believe? And if we believe that, we better fight for it or we're going to lose it. This company is going to build the economic prowess to defend those beliefs. And the people that are going to get rich, the first trillionaire, will be somebody investing in this company. And they will be people that pour all that value, not into their own gratification, but into the reinvention of this country, into what it was when we believed in values that made us great.
Thank you so much for being a part of this show. I know it's going to happen. I feel it. I told you, I got goosebumps all over when I was listening to you talk about this. And there are so many more aspects folks, that I haven't had an opportunity to speak with Steve about on this two-part podcast series with him. I'm going to be bringing you back, Steve, anytime to talk. And I'd love a chance to come visit you in Houston at the NASA Space Center. It's always been a dream of mine.
Yeah, well, we'll take you a look. And our headquarters is in Florida, actually. We're here because we're integrating with all these companies.
Right.
But because of my military background and my relationship with NASA and this company's relationship with NASA, we will get you that tour anytime you want.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you again to Steve Kwast for coming on the show. You are an inspiring man and a great patriot. And I look forward to bringing you back on really, really soon. If you love today's show and want even more of the Sara Carter Show from space, make sure you rate this podcast 5 stars and subscribe on your favorite podcast app, whether that's Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on Truth at Sara Carter Official, on Twitter at Sara Carter DC, and on Instagram at SCarterDC. God bless you. God bless our great nation. God bless the future of space travel and humanity. And God bless the great state of Texas.